Hello and welcome back. What I like to do is still stay on the topic of the foods that are right for you. In other words, my fourth habit is eat the foods right for you. Now again, everything I'm going to share with you, don't believe anything I'm telling you, give it a go, see if it works for you. Well, it never works, you work. I made a statement before about anything with a shelf life doesn't have a shelf life. What I mean by that, if it comes in a package and it's got 2015 on there, then obviously it's got some additives, preservatives or something put in there in order for it to have that shelf life. Now, Paleolithic man and you know, if we've been around 6 million, 2.6 million years, whatever the research states, they haven't been eating processed foods. So when I talk about foods, I'm talking about things that are actually natural that I could go out and go hunting for and collect right now, or did in the past. A product is something, again, as I said, with a shelf life, and it's got additives, preservatives and those kind of things, and it comes in a package. And I'm not a follower of those things. Yes, I know they taste good, because no manufacturer is going to produce something that tastes like poo. They're not going to be in business for very long. And the main thing that I'll look at, which I've stated before, it's a class A drug, it's called sugar. And I know I kind of joke about it, but it's not a joking matter. One of the reasons why 43% of babies born from the millennium onwards are going to become type 2 diabetics and probably not going to outlive their parents. There's many reasons why, with toxicity and everything else, but I believe it's down to the fuel that you're putting in, and it's likely to have a sugar in it. And then just the lies that are promulgated through the media about sugar, because it is 4 times more addictive than cocaine. Don't believe me? Read the Diet Cure or the Mood Cure by Julia Ross, or read Molecules of Emotion by Dr. Candace Pert, PhD. So there's many things out there that, you know, so don't believe anything I'm telling you, but find out for yourself. In fact, the interesting thing is 99% of the UK, and I would probably say the US, Western population is actually addicted to sugar. And they don't even know they're addicted to it. And so it's socially acceptable and it's okay. No, it isn't. It is believed that we kind of dig our graves one fork at a time. So what I want to do on this little session is to remind you about what I call the 7 sins. Now, there are better choices to make, but I'll run through them. So if you could remove these 7 sins from your diet, I will guarantee you, you will start to take control of your health, and you will improve your energy levels. You'll eventually start coming off your medications, but don't do that unless you liaise with your doctor. And Okay, so sleep better, feel better. I don't think words can describe what optimal health looks like. First one, I would say, is gluten. Or I'm going to actually label it as grains, bread, pasta, cereals, all those things are dysfunctional foods. In fact, if you want to become a serial killer, that's C-E-R-E-A-L, then just feed your child a cereal. Don't do that. There's not one healthy cereal on the market, except perhaps organic oats that I can think of, and maybe some quinoa or millet. Although millet can actually slow down the master regulator, which is known as a thyroid. So only have a small bit of that. So gluten's one thing. I reckon over 60%, with the research is correct, over 60% of the population is actually gluten intolerant. And if you're gluten intolerant, you're going to be lactose intolerant. But if you think about it, we are the only species on the planet that drink milk beyond our weaning years, and we're the only dumber species that drink somebody else's, like cow's milk, which contains 20 times more casein, and bodybuilders like that stuff, and it doesn't serve us. And please never feed your child milk. A better alternative to that would be perhaps goat's milk. It's more structurally compatible to the breast milk, but then again, you need the enzymes. Does this kind of make sense to you, what I'm sharing? So the 7 sins, and I know my passion goes off on different tangents. The first one is gluten. The second one, pasteurization. Anything that's been heated has no enzymes, no bacteria, dysfunctional. Better choice would be, if you can, would be raw. Goats would probably be best. I personally don't drink milk. I don't believe you need it. When people say, well, where do I get my calcium from? Well, think about it. Your greens contain calcium. And in all honesty, you won't actually get calcium from milk, because when it goes into the body and it gets broken down, it actually ups your pH of your body. And if you look at the research, certainly in the US, it clearly shows those consuming more milk actually leads to things like osteoporosis, which is, what paradoxical irony is that? The third thing would be salt. Now, salt I know has a shelf life and everything else, but the ones I would certainly subscribe to are things like, I use Himalayan salt, Hawaiian salt, they're pinkish in colour, contain over 80 vitamins and minerals, and Celtic salt, which is from Brittany, France, which is a blue-grey colour. And they're rich, as I say, in vitamins and minerals, and they're natural, and they won't throw out your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, up your blood pressure. The other thing is, so those are the four, so salt, sugar, grains and pasteurisation. If you can remove them from your diet, trust me, I'm not a doctor, you will start to feel a lot better. The other ones are soy or soya, totally dysfunctional food. I know there's it's worth billions, the industry, and they're promulgating that it's great for you. It isn't. Unless it's fermented. Miso, tempo and natto are okay, but they're only used as a condiment. They're not used as a main meal for most. If you look at the Chinese people, they don't use it as a huge main meal. Sweeteners, aspartame, don't even go there. Watch Sweet Misery, a great movie. There is a little book, Excitotoxins That Can Kill You by Dr. Russell Blaylock. I mean, all the information's out there. Aspartame, I could run a 3-hour lecture just on what it's composed of and how it affects the body. Look in your products. If it contains aspartame, don't have it. It's an excitotoxin. It basically speeds up these things, the grey cells, and then they die. Just get it out of your diet, please. Splenda, another classic one. What is that crap doing in our diet? And it all revolves around the money. And dare I mention Donald Rumsfeld? Well, Donald Rumsfeld was the guy. You've got me going now. The guy who got the whole thing set up back in the 70s in his early political career. And if anyone should be literally hung, drawn and quartered, and I never speak ill of those absent, for I'll lose those present. A great quote by Dr. Stephen Covey. But that gentleman, I mean, I believe he has caused more death and destruction on this planet through allowing aspartame on the market and pushing it through. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'll own that. Again, I've mentally abused myself. I don't read newspapers, I don't watch television, I don't watch the news, so I kind of fill this thing with what I want to fill it with, and so to some extent I can remain quite ignorant and naive, but then I think we all are to some extent. So sweeteners, remove them from your diet. And the last one I would say would be processed oils. As I mentioned before, PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, they're not stable at temperature, and so vegetable oils, canola oil, saffron oil, a lot of those are not the herbicides, pesticides have gone on them, but also the way they're processed, higher temperatures even to kill the smell that they give off, because obviously it's got to smell neutral or not smell at all. So the proponent alternatives to that would be things like coconut oil, fantastic. Olive oil's great. I add turmeric to it because again, not great at temperature, but it's great liberally on your salads. Avocado oil's great for high temperature. Goose fat, duck fat, butter, ghee, lard, those kind of things. Again, make sure they're organic. In fact, if nothing else from this recording, take this away. If you buy butter, make sure it's organic, because think about it, all the cows and goats, whatever, they're injected with antibiotics and growth hormones, and I think it takes something like 10 pounds of their kind of milk to produce 1 pound of butter or something, and so they're really concentrated with a lot of crap. Caffeinated refined alcohol and a lot of crap, it's another acronym, that will not serve you. So if anything, make sure your butter is organic. So again, the 7 sins, remove from your diet: salt, sugar, pasteurisation and grains, soya, sweeteners and processed oils. I hope you found that useful. Don't believe anything I tell you, find out if it's true. Create yourself a wonderful day. My name's Magnus Molina, bye for now.